Hello, and welcome to OCALI Family Hub in 5. I'm Jen Bavery, and I lead the work of our Family and Community Outreach Center. And I'm excited to have a few minutes with you to showcase a new resource from OCALI, the Family Resource Hub. This is a space that was created to help families navigate easily to OCALI resources to find practical tools, guidance, and support to help you and your loved one. The different categories that are created on this hub actually were informed by you from family members telling us what matters most. So we've got topics around learning at home, planning for the future, autism and developmental disabilities, trauma resilience, and supporting communication. So a lot of great resources here to help support you. And I'm even more excited to have my colleague, Shauna Benson here, who is the program director for our Teaching All Learners Center. And Shauna, we're going to highlight a couple of resources. One that you and I did a couple years ago about learning at home and school. So let's go ahead and go to that category. A lot of great information here to help families with kind of how to use these different resources. I think this one appears all the way down at the bottom. So it's our Welcome to Homeroom. And we're going to click on this card. And there's a little bit of an explanation for folks that want to learn a little bit more before actually exploring. But once you're ready to explore, you can click on Explore Now, and it takes us to this page. So yeah, welcome to the homeroom. Do you remember doing this?
Lost from the past.
Yeah. Tell me more about this resource and how you think it still applies today.
So when we originally recorded this, we were supporting families whose children were learning from home in that moment. And we can apply that today with things like homework or after-school activities, things that kiddos are doing in the home to support learning at school or to engage in other types of connections between home and school. And I remember when we recorded this video, we were talking about how to actually use materials that would have been used in the school environment, bringing those home to use, and also setting up the home environment where you actually have different stations as kids are working on different projects or like homework or things like that, different areas of the home where those designated kinds of activities could happen and kiddos can focus and things like that. So this was a fun video to record. It's kind of nice to reminisce about it.
Yeah, absolutely. And I know it's part of this bigger collection from our Inspire Ed series. But I want to make sure we also have time to talk a little bit more about some newer resources that you have.
And some new ones.
Yeah. So if we go back to the Family Hub page, you can get to it right here by clicking on Family Resource Hub. The very bottom, I think one of our categories is supporting communication. You've got some great resources here helping to support, I think, parents and families in conversations with educators. So I think all the way at the bottom, our how-to. Let's go ahead and go to our how-to video here. I know we've got just a couple minutes, but tell me more about, again, how someone can use this resource.
So we have a new how-to tips and strategies resource gallery, which holds a collection, again, of video clips that are pretty short, about 10 minutes each. And some of the resources and materials we talked about in the first video actually kind of show up here for an application-based tutorial of sorts. So in this first video clip related to choice making, we know that choice making happens throughout the day, whether kids are at school or at home. So we thought this might be a nice video to feature and showing some adapted types of tools and materials that can be used both at school and at home. So families can offer choices for kiddos, for a variety of things in after-school activities and environments. So you can kind of see the adapted materials showcased here. A lot of those are also available in our lending library, and those are also available to families as well.
Exactly. And I know people can continue. This is just one video in a series of other videos. So there's a lot here that can be explored when someone's ready to dive a little bit deeper.
Yeah, there are adapted materials for things like storytelling. So if you sit down and read with your kiddos in the evening, lots of ways you can adapt and offer communication or engagement types of choices with reading materials and things like that as well.
Yeah, and literacy is so important. So it's great to have some additional supports for that. Well, Shauna, this has been wonderful. I'm so glad that we were able to highlight these resources through our Family Hub in 5. And I encourage all of you to check out the resources that are available to help support learning at home and supporting communication, as well as the other resources that the Hub has to offer. And keep coming back as we continue to add more tools and supports for you and your loved one.